Hey everyone, today I want to take you on a journey through one of the most comforting passages in the Bible, Psalm 91. It's a psalm that's all about finding safety, strength, and peace in God. Psalm 91 is one of the most cherished passages in the Bible, known as the Psalm of Protection. It provides powerful imagery of God's shelter and protection, offering peace to those who trust in Him. This psalm addresses the fears and dangers that individuals face and reassures believers of God's constant presence. Each verse presents a promise of security, safety, and steadfastness in God's love, making it a source of comfort for millions seeking solace from life's uncertainties. Below is an exploration of each verse with reflections on their meaning and how they apply to life today. Verses 1 to 2. Trust in God as a refuge. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. These opening verses introduce the central theme of the psalm. Those who choose to dwell or make their home in God find true peace and rest. The terms shelter and shadow imply comfort and protection. When we seek refuge in God, we find a safe place away from life's troubles. The act of calling God our fortress shows that faith can act as a stronghold in times of weakness and uncertainty. In today's world, stress, fear, and unpredictability are common. These verses encourage readers to trust in God, viewing Him as an unshakable source of protection. It suggests that choosing to rely on faith over fear can create inner peace and a sense of security. Verses 3 to 4. Assurance against dangers. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. Here, the psalmist emphasizes that God offers a sanctuary from hidden dangers, both physical and spiritual. The fowler's snare symbolizes traps and unexpected problems, while pestilence represents plagues or diseases. Imagery of God's feathers suggests a tender, nurturing form of protection, similar to how mother bird shelters her young. God's faithfulness becomes a shield that wards off harm, a promise of His ongoing care. These verses remind believers that God provides comfort and protection, even from unseen dangers. In times of widespread fear, whether from illness, uncertainty, or challenges, this passage reminds us that God's protection is a constant source of assurance. Verses 5 to 6. Freedom from fear. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, or the plague that destroys at midday. The psalmist speaks of freedom from fear, whether it's terror by night, arrows by day, or plagues at any time. This verse encompasses both tangible threats and fears of the unknown, representing God's protection as round-the-clock, without end. This freedom from fear allows believers to live in confidence, undisturbed by the anxieties that plague daily life. Life is often filled with anxieties, but these verses suggest that faith in God brings a sense of calm and courage. Reflecting on this passage can help foster resilience, encouraging us to move forward with trust even when we face uncertainty. Verses 7 to 8. Witnessing God's justice. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. In these verses, the psalmist describes divine justice While chaos may surround, believers are assured that they will be spared. Observing from a distance, they witness the consequences of evil without experiencing harm themselves, underscoring God's power to save and deliver. These verses speak to God's justice and serve as a reminder of His strength. They encourage believers to trust in divine protection and justice, affirming that faithfulness to God brings peace even amid external turmoil. Verses 9 to 10. God is our dwelling place. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent. Here, the psalmist reiterates that choosing to dwell in God provides protection. A dwelling place is a space of rest, safety, and belonging. This passage reassures us that when we make God our home, we are covered by His love, protected from harm. This verse encourages us to build our lives around faith. Making God our dwelling implies putting trust in His power and living in His presence daily, no matter what challenges arise. Verses 11 to 13. Protection by angels. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. These verses introduce the concept of angelic protection. God's angels act as protectors, guiding and guarding believers on their life's journey. The lion and the cobra, symbols of danger and evil, suggest that believers will overcome adversity and fear with divine support. This passage is a reminder that help often comes from unexpected sources, and that faith has a way of bringing support when we most need it. In moments of uncertainty, we can trust that we are protected and guided, even by unseen forces. Verses 14 to 16. God's promise of rescue and reward. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. These concluding verses are a direct promise from God. They offer comfort to those who trust in him, love him, and call upon his name. God promises deliverance, protection, and an answer to those who seek him. These promises culminate in eternal salvation, providing the ultimate reward. This final passage reinforces the depth of God's love. It reassures believers that God not only protects and delivers, but also fulfills the deeper desires of our hearts. This promise of salvation brings peace to those who put their faith in God, knowing that their lives are both protected and valued. A powerful real-life example that reflects the themes of Psalm 91 is the story of the survival of John McCain during his time as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. McCain, a U.S. Navy pilot, was captured after his plane was shot down over Hanoi in 1967. For over 5 years, he endured torture, starvation, and solitary confinement. Despite the physical and emotional challenges he faced, McCain later described how he found comfort in his faith and in passages from the Bible, including Psalm 91, which reminded him of God's protection and presence. While he was held captive, McCain and other prisoners covertly communicated, sharing verses and prayers to help each other remain hopeful. Psalm 91's verses about divine shelter and protection from the terror of night and the arrow that flies by day provided strength to persevere against what felt like insurmountable odds. They believed God was with them, protecting their spirits even as their bodies were confined and wounded. McCain later spoke of how his faith helped him stay strong, even in his darkest hours. Psalm 91's message became his anchor, a reminder that he was not alone, even when surrounded by danger. This story demonstrates how Psalm 91's themes of divine refuge and strength can offer hope even in the most challenging and seemingly hopeless situations. Psalm 91 is a profound reflection on the themes of divine protection, personal faith, and courage in the face of adversity. Its verses provide a timeless reminder that, while life's challenges are inevitable, so too is God's unwavering presence. For those who choose to trust in God as their refuge and fortress, this psalm offers a deep sense of peace and a promise that they are never alone. Psalm 91 reassures believers that they are not only seen by God, but actively protected by Him, a message that continues to inspire faith and hope across generations. Psalm 91 speaks deeply to me because of the way it blends reassurance, peace, and strength. It stands out as a passage that doesn't ignore life's dangers or fears, but directly acknowledges them, offering an answer rooted in trust and divine protection. To me, Psalm 91 reflects a vision of faith that doesn't promise a life free from challenges, but assures us of an enduring support system that we can lean on at any moment. This psalm's vision of God as both a fortress and a refuge creates an image of safety that can be internalized in real-life situations, big or small. The opening verses especially resonate with me. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This line is powerful because it emphasizes that peace is available to us, not by trying to avoid difficulties, but by choosing to dwell or rest within God's presence. The imagery of a fortress and a shadow conjures up a sense of steady protection that transcends our immediate understanding, reminding me that peace isn't about having control over everything, but about releasing control and entrusting it to something greater than myself. Psalm 91 has had a personal impact on how I approach life's uncertainties. Rather than viewing faith as an escape, this psalm encourages me to face challenges with courage, trusting that I'm not alone, even when circumstances are daunting. When I'm anxious or overwhelmed, reading these verses gives me a renewed perspective and a grounded sense of calm. The concept that God commands angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways brings comfort, helping me recognize and appreciate the people, experiences, and unseen forces that support me in unexpected ways. It reminds me to acknowledge the protectors in my life and to reflect on the deeper sources of support and love that I might otherwise overlook. This psalm has also affected how I interact with others. Just as I am reassured by these words of protection, I feel inspired to extend the same sense of refuge to those around me. In a way, Psalm 91 invites me to be a source of comfort for others, to help them find peace and strength amid their struggles. The psalm's closing promise, "With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation," is a reminder that there is always hope, even beyond what we can see now. This gives me a long-term perspective on faith, knowing that ultimately, there is a promise of enduring peace and fulfillment. In short, Psalm 91 has taught me that true peace doesn't come from eliminating fears or uncertainties, but from accepting them with faith. It brings a profound reminder that while life's challenges are inevitable, so is God's presence and support, which allows us to walk forward with courage. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Psalm 91. I hope this brought you a little peace and comfort. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with anyone who might need some extra encouragement today.